Have you ever heard of Thomas the Tank Engine? Everyone has. If you have been around the little kids between the ages of 2 and around 7 or so, I'm sure you have. My son adored Thomas so much so that he could name every single train on the show. He knew what color they were and the number they had painted on them. I was glad when I heard that he was coming to visit me over the summer, but I had a ton of work to do, so I bought him a Thomas DVD. This cover looked innocent enough. The DVD was called Cranky Bugs. He was so excited to see the DVD that right off the bat, he pleaded with me to pop it into the DVD player. I went to work while he watched it. After a few hours, he came into my office, looking as pale as a sheet. He said, "Daddy." His voice seemed very weak. "Are you okay?" I spoke. I touched his head and noticed that his temperature had gone up. Why did Thomas kill the children? My heart sank like a stone, but I soon brushed it off. "I'm sure Thomas didn't kill the children," I reassured him. "Now you need your rest and some medicine." I gently pushed him toward his room. "Let's go now." After putting him to bed, I got curious as to what he had seen. I popped in the DVD and began to watch all the episodes play. It seemed normal enough. Thomas was told to take a group of children to the seaside by the instructions of Sir Topham Hatt. I noticed something odd though. There was almost no narration in this episode. The episode then showed Thomas picking up the little wooden children and showed every single one of them climb on board. Then there was a scene of him zooming down the rails like he always did, and the kids were cheering. But up ahead, Bernie the bus was stuck on the railway tracks. This is when the episode got strange. Bernie stared at Thomas in fear, but the blue train just looked angry and sped up. What was even more disheartening is that there were sounds of a man yelling in anger and sounds of kids crying were sounding in the coaches. Thomas crashed into Bernie, causing smoke to burst all over the screen. Usually by now, the narrator said, luckily, no one was hurt, but there was no reassurance for the kids. The episode then showed the carnage inside the coaches. The figures had their limbs broken off, what looked like actual blood had been splattered everywhere. Some figures looked like cheap skeleton figures that were covered in blood, and worst of all, the models of Thomas, his coaches and Bernie were broken and painted in rusty paint. Everything went to quiet black static. After that I felt myself boiling over with anger. What sicko would create something that messed up for little kids? Then I paused the static. Messages started to appear on the screen like kill, obey, multiply and die. I watched the static and more different messages flashed on the screen. I threw the darn thing in the trash after breaking it in half. I would not expose my child to any more of that trash. Before going to bed myself, I checked him. He was happily asleep and snoring, clutching his teddy. I had a nightmare from this, one where I was inside a moving bus, but it was the only passenger on board, and there was no driver. The bus then broke down in what I saw to my horror a railroad crossing, while a fast-moving train came in front of me. Now I have woken up, sleeping too hard, computer near me, and I'm too afraid to check the garbage again.